They all laughed that night. The rich guests in their glittering dresses, the spoiled Heir with his cruel smirk, and even the waiters who dared to hide their smiles. Everyone except her. She stood there frozen, humiliated with dirty water dripping down her uniform. A poor cleaning girl mocked, insulted, and crushed in front of hundreds. What none of them knew was that this young lady carried a secret powerful enough to turn their laughter into silence. Within weeks, the same millionaire's son who humiliated her would find himself on his knees, begging for forgiveness he never thought he would need. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe our channel for more real-life inspired emotional stories. The chandeliers sparkled like golden stars inside the hall of the luxurious Rosewood Hotel. It was the night of the Anderson family's annual charity gala, a place where wealthy elites flaunted their money in the name of kindness. Expensive champagne glasses clinked, designer gowns swept across the marble floor, and music played softly in the background. Among the crowd was Ethan Anderson, the only son of billionaire Charles Anderson. Ethan was tall, sharp-featured, and undeniably handsome. But behind his charm hid a storm of arrogance. Everyone in the city knew him not for his talents, but for his entitled ways. He lived his life believing money could buy respect, loyalty, and even hearts. Across the room, unnoticed by most, a young cleaning lady quietly pushed her cart along the corner. Her name was Lily. With her hair neatly tied back and her uniform slightly worn out, she looked ordinary, someone who blended into the background. She had been working at the hotel for only 3 weeks, taking late-night shifts to support her ailing grandmother and her younger brother's school fees. Every movement she made was careful, precise, respectful, as though she understood that in this world of glitter, people like her were invisible until they made a mistake. And that night, mistake found her. As she was clearing an empty glass from one of the tables, Ethan, drunk from too much champagne, caught sight of her. His friends surrounded him, laughing at every word he said. He leaned forward, his eyes narrowing at Lily. "Hey, you," he called out, his voice sharp enough to silence the chatter around him. "Come here." Lily froze, clutching the glass tightly in her hand. Slowly, she stepped toward him, lowering her head in respect. "Yes, sir," she asked softly. Ethan smirked. "Do you know how much this suit costs?" He tugged at his designer jacket. "More than you'll make in 5 years cleaning floors." His friends erupted in laughter. Lily's cheeks flushed, but she stayed quiet, not satisfied with her silence. Ethan picked up a half-filled glass of champagne and held it out to her. "Why don't you show us how well you clean?" Oops. He tilted the glass and deliberately spilled the liquid all over the floor at her feet. The crowd gasped, some laughing behind their hands, others too stunned to react. "No, clean it," Ethan commanded. Lily's hands trembled as she bent down to wipe the floor. Her uniform damp, her dignity crushed. The room blurred with shame as tears welled in her eyes. But she forced them back. She had no choice. She needed this job. But Ethan wasn't done. He picked up another glass and pretended to trip, pouring it over her head. The cold liquid dripped down her hair, soaking her shoulders. This time, the entire hall burst into cruel laughter. That was the moment Lily's world froze. For a split second she wanted to scream, to fight back, to show them all who she really was. But she didn't. She simply whispered, "I'm sorry, sir," and walked away with her cart, her eyes burning, but her steps steady. Yet behind her silence was a storm. Ethan had no idea that the cleaning girl he had humiliated wasn't who she seemed to be at all. 2 days later, the Anderson family boardroom was buzzing. Charles Anderson, Ethan's father, sat at the head of the long mahogany table, waiting for their new investor to arrive. The company was in trouble despite its public image. Several failed projects, lawsuits, and a desperate need for new funding. This meeting was their lifeline. The door opened, and in walked a young woman in a sharp black suit. Her confidence filled the room instantly. Her hair was no longer tied in a simple bun, but fell neatly around her shoulders. Her eyes, calm yet piercing, scanned the room with authority. "Good morning," she greeted, her voice steady. "I'm Lily Bennett, representing the Bennett Foundation." Ethan, lounging lazily at the far end of the table, nearly dropped his pen. His jaw went slack. It was her, the cleaning girl. But no, she wasn't wearing a maid's uniform now. She wasn't pushing a cart. She was the investor, the one with the power to save or destroy his father's empire. Charles quickly stood, shaking her hand with both of his. "Miss Bennett, it's an honor. Thank you for considering our proposal." Ethan's friend's laughter from that night echoed in his head. The image of him pouring champagne over her replayed like a nightmare. His chest tightened. He hadn't just humiliated a maid. He had humiliated the heiress of the Bennett family, one of the wealthiest and most influential names in the city. As Lily sat across the table, her eyes briefly locked with Ethan's. For a second, her calm mask cracked, and he saw the pain he had caused reflected back at him. But just as quickly, she straightened, her professionalism unshaken. Throughout